From Does Size Matter? We are at the Calgary RV Expo here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So yes, all the numbers are going to be in Canadian dollars. So those of you with your American dollars, well, you can come on up and get one. So we are going to spend some time at the Guarantee RV section here at the show, where they have the Winnebago Navion products. So I want to just remind you that the Navion is the same as the View. Exactly the same. I've been trying to sort these two out, what's the difference, for so long, but really it was just two products. One was an Itasca, one was a Winnebago. They joined. They're the exact same. They're built the same. Everything's the same. So what we're going to do today is talk about the construction of the Winnebago Navion for you, and we'll go through all those details. We'll put some links up to some separate videos that will actually be tours of the floor plans and those kinds of details, so you'll be able to link on that. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that we can, and the little notification bell, and then we can show you more stuff when it comes out, and some of our adventures too. I also want to share with you one of the resources that Corey and I use with all of our research, and it's called Rvreviews Net, and I'll put a link to it in the description. It's the coolest place to go to learn everything you need to know around RVs, manufacturers, models, used, new. They rate them all. They give you so much information, and even if you narrow it down to one, they'll be able to help you learn more about that. So check them out in the description, and let's get on with the construction of the Winnebago Navion. So obviously the first part that's important to know is that this is on the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter chassis. Different chassis out there, and they have different specs, so I'm just going to read this one for you. It is the 3.0 liter 6-cylinder 188 horsepower turbo diesel. And there's been a little bit of, I've read two different types of transmissions, so I want you to check into that because I think that they changed some of the options in them between different years, 18 or 19 and then going into 20. So when you're looking at the one you want, just check into that. But I heard there was a 7G Tronic transmission or a 5-speed transmission. So want to look into that and make sure the exact one you're getting, you know. And there's pros and cons between the different chassis, and we're not here to tell you which one you should get. They're just different. And go onto some forums, have some discussions, and decide for yourself. One of the benefits of the Mercedes chassis is a higher towing capacity, and so you can tow 5,000 pounds with this particular chassis. So what happens is the Mercedes-Benz cab and then the chassis with the wheels is brought into the plant, and then Winnebago starts building the house on the whole rig. And I'm going to give you all the details about how they do that, but you can take a look at the beautiful full body paint that goes on with all the gel coating, and they integrate that all into the Mercedes cab. And then they add things like their running boards and all of the other extra pieces that go with it. So starting at the bottom, they do put, now the Mercedes-Benz chassis, Mercedes-Benz is very specific about any companies that are doing any outbuilding on their chassis, and they have a lot of requirements in place. So the important thing to know about that is that a company has to follow all that in order to maintain their warranty for Mercedes-Benz. So you do want to go to a company that's able to do that and is certified to do that. So they build outriggers from the inside of the chassis down. These outriggers come out to support these walls, because you can see on a wide body, and this is the whole, is it a Class B, is it a Class C? Technically it is a Class C, but it's a much smaller style of Class C. So it's kind of like a Class B wide body, making it maybe a B+. And those are the kind of terms you're going to hear, but I think officially it is a Class C. So those outriggers will come off of the chassis out to the edge of the wall. They are also coated and things, because remember the Mercedes-Benz chassis is kind of got a wax coating on it, which is why they're so picky about where or how other outfitters are putting bolting and anything into their chassis. So they bring these outriggers out, and then they build a flooring system. And the floor with the aluminum floor joists, and in between those floor joists they are putting a foam blocking insulation. On top of that they are putting a plywood floor, and then they're putting their vinyl is about the walls and the roof. And these are laminated, and they've got a fiberglass, they've got an aluminum framed wall, and in that is the block foam insulation. On the inside of that is the Luan and whatever finishing product that they are using. They are also using a pinch rolled lamination process. I think they could do better than that, but I don't hear a lot of people complaining about any sort of delamination or anything on the Winnebagos, so they must be doing a decent enough job on that. The roof then is also an aluminum framed roof, and it also has the block foam insulation. Without the rep here, we weren't able to come to a conclusion on just how thick the insulation is in the roof and walls. But they are using the aluminum framing around any of the doors and windows or AC openings or anything like that, and then of course it goes out to the edges to give that opening support, and they do that throughout the roof and throughout the walls. Then Winnebago brings them together in an interlocking way at the joints that helps with support and keeps things sealed up. So that's unique to Winnebago, and I think I've heard no complaints about it. Oh, the roof also has a one-piece fiberglass pylon that they use over the top. Now you'll notice that up here on the Navion, you might not be able to see it very well because the slide is out, but there's this top cap, and that is a one-piece fiberglass piece that meets up with the rest of the roof around here. And then they overlap that fiberglass cap with the fiberglass material on the top and seal that up completely too. So there is a joint there, but it is a well sealed, and both products are fiberglass. Another thing to understand about that fiberglass cap up there is in this particular unit, and I'll show you when we go inside, but that's actual bunk up there. So this is insulated, but it won't be with the block foam because it's very difficult to make block foam adhere to that shape. So that's going to have some sort of fiberglass batting insulation, something like that in that space. So that's how the roof and the walls are made. So I also want to talk about the slide, and that this is the walls and things of the slide are constructed the same as the walls on the rest of the rig. And you can see that this has what they call the slim rack mechanism for moving the slide in and out. And this has been in use now for a few years. I think I've questioned Winnebago about it before, but I've noticed on previous units that this piece was rubber. Do you remember that, Corey?
Rubber?
Yeah, it was a flexible kind of rubber, and this is a much more strong and sturdy piece of, I don't know what the material would be, but this is a hard piece, not a flexible rubber. Also, you can see they have the bulb seal here, and they've got the flap seal here, so that's important. And on top they do have the slide topper to keep debris and water and things off. So this is a pretty good system, and it'll be an electric slide, and I'd have to check. I don't know if it's on all of the floor plans or not, and hopefully we'll be able to show you all the floor plans, but it is electric, and you can see it's all sealed underneath and everything as well. So that's nice. And on the tour, we will actually go through each of the cabinets and things with you. So now let's take a walk around and take a look at a few other things. So looking up to I can see that there is some, you know, little eaves trough spaces so that the water can shed off of the rounded roof, but I don't see any actual spouts for it to come out of, which really would be an easy thing for Winnebago to do to keep the water away from the side of the rig. But coming down, this is what I wanted to show you. Aluminum wheels, and let me see what I can tell you about the tires. I always say I'm not a tire specialist, but I want to give you as much information as I can. This is the Continental tire, and it is the LT215-85R16-115-112 tire. I just feel like I did some special code there. I don't know, but hopefully that gives you some information about it. Coming down, I mean, these are really beautiful rigs. I wanted to talk about these windows. They're different because they are acrylic windows. So whenever a company changes something up, and something kind of quite dramatic, there's got to be a reason for it. So when I heard of acrylic, I'm like, really, what's that about? And I started asking questions. So this is what I've learned about acrylic windows, that it is equal to a dual pane window, so that makes me happy right off the bat, yet it's way lighter. You're getting a good window with the insulation and sound protection that comes with dual pane, but in a lighter product. So that's always important. My worry was that acrylic's gonna scratch up or, you know, get marked or yellow. So they're telling me that these definitely are not going to yellow in any way, and if they were to get a bit of a scratch or a mark in it, that you could buff it out quite simply. So they're new, and it will remain to be seen, won't it? And we'll follow along with that. But the actual theory behind the acrylic window is a good one, so I think we'll wait and see. Also on the Navion, you get the Truma Aquago Comfort Plus on-demand hot water heater. This is wonderful. We've had on-demand hot water heaters before that we didn't really like because you had to waste water in order to get it to warm up. And when you're boondocking, there's no amount of water you're willing to waste. But now with the Comfort Plus system, it keeps that warm. There is no water wastage. It circulates it through, and you do actually have on-demand hot water. So we like that. So let's go around to the back here. These are really nice rigs, and it's nice to have a window back here too. But this is where you're going to find your awesome 5,000-pound hitch. And for us, we don't tow anything, but we put our bike rack into there that can hold quite a bit. And it's just so sturdy and stable in ours. So you could put a lot in there. Ours only holds 2, but you can get them that hold 4. Big racks, put lots of stuff on there. The other thing I want to mention, the salesman was just telling me there is 450 watt solar panels that come standard on this Navion, and I had read things like 300 and then 200, so I questioned him on that, and he says, yeah, 450 is standard. You also get a 2,000 watt inverter. Probably the weakness in the system then would be that it comes with 2 lead acid batteries. So not that lead acid batteries are bad, because we've all been using them for years and years. They're just more maintenance, they're quite heavy, and they don't store quite as well as some of the other battery choices do. But if you were one of those people thinking about getting a solar package, you've already got 2 of the really big components that you would need, and you could switch out those batteries anytime you want. So that's a great feature that comes standard on the Navion. You also get a ladder so that you can get up to your walkable roof and do your maintenance, check on your slide and all that. And then if you come way down, I wanted to point out the stabilizer jacks that are here. Now these are electric stabilizer jacks, but I think it might be an option to move up to those hydraulic jacks, but check with your dealership to be sure about that. So the other thing I want to show you that'll be a standard feature on the Navion is the generator. And there you go. So you get the Cummins Onan 3600 propane generator on the Navion. So that's nice too. I mean, and if you've got all that solar, and I mean, the reason that all of these types of rigs are needing all the extra solar and things is because they're going to a lot of electricity using appliances and things. And we'll show you that when we go on into the tour. So we wanted to just come inside and show you this so that you can see how that fiberglass cap front meets the actual roof structure, and then it goes into the, it's like a vinyl sheeting that is on the roof. So that's where the two meet, and you can see the differences there. And then down here on the floor, we wanted to show you that this is the vinyl flooring that is on that whole system. But you can see how the cab and this fiberglass top actually come together with the house unit here. The other thing I want to mention about the wall structure that we don't get to see is that there's the aluminum framing out of things for doors and windows, but there's also this sheets of aluminum that are put inside the walls so that all of the cabinetry and things can be attached to those. So you can't see them, but they're there, and that's how the cabinetry is attached. So that takes you through the construction of the Winnebago Navion, and we'll put in the links at the end here, some of the tours that you can go on or maybe come along on an adventure. But don't forget to hit subscribe, and thanks for watching.